Alright, hi everyone, my name is Snailing. Welcome to the Snaipple podcast. I'm really glad to see you today. Just let me ask you, what are you doing? Because I did absolutely nothing this whole week. Like usually I would record the podcast on a Thursday evening instead of a Friday evening, and basically putting myself on a time crunch. I mean, it's not actually a lot of work to edit and put out the episode. It's just that sometimes it takes a lot of time to process the video, to upload it, to just come up with a description. It's not much, but, you know, it's work. It's not even honest work, it's just work. That's kind of the same reason why I haven't been doing much of my schoolwork. I think it's stupid how I still have schoolwork. Like, it's almost the end of June, and I still have schoolwork. Like, bruh. And, okay, granted, I hardly have to attend any classes anymore because it's basically the end of the year for me, and there's no need for me. I'm not required to for some. But some classes, I'm literally the only person attending. And my teacher actually made sure to point that out, apparently. So she posted the link to the classroom. Just like, join at this time. And she left a PS specifically for me because the time was like 15 minutes later than the usual time that it would start. Usually it would start at 9:30 a.m., but this time it started at 9:45. And she justified that because she had a class at 8:45 with someone else, and I was like, bruh, those poor kids, they're slightly younger than me, but those poor kids, they do not deserve to be waking up at 8:45. Okay, not 8:45, you can't wake up like right at the time the class is supposed to begin, at least not in my time, in terms of my own time management. Because I need like half an hour. Okay, I think this time I could spare like 10 minutes because you don't need much preparation in order to get on a laptop and join the call. And I am blessed to actually look somewhat decent every morning. Haha, flex. But yeah, sometimes I look like trash, sometimes I look decent, but it doesn't matter. I still show up to the class, I do the work. Except this week I didn't, but bless my history teacher, like of course she gives work, but I show up to her classes, so it makes me a good student. And I think she missed me, so yes, she's being really nice to me about it. And I'm gonna do the work eventually, I have to. I don't want to end the year with like unfinished work. It wouldn't give me a good feeling, so I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, back to the post about the class. So she made sure to write a separate PS, a separate postscriptum for me, even though I would be the only person who would actually read the message and show up. So, yeah. In the class, usually, like in person, when we all used to show up to school in person and we didn't wear masks and stuff and we didn't keep a 1 meter distance or like a 2 meter distance, I don't know what the policy is right now or what the norm is. Anyway, we didn't have to social distance and everything was great, and actually saying everything was great is saying that everything isn't great now. I like staying home. Staying home is amazing. I like this way of life. I like this lifestyle I've adopted. But yeah, back in class, there's another girl named Raymond in the class. I mean, obviously our names aren't Raymond, but, you know, Raymond. And, okay, but it's a slightly different spelling of Raymond, and it's a little bit different from my Raymond. So my Raymond is Raymond, and hers is a bit more gnarly. And my teacher, she can never get my Raymond right, even though, in my opinion, it's a simpler spelling. it's a more simple form of the name. Like, it's just Raymond, Raymond. But for her, for the other Raymond, it's like Raemonnedd. Like, it adds a bit more letters, and when you first lay your eyes on it, you'd be like, oh wow, how do you come up with that spelling? No shade to that girl. We can both be Raymonds, but you know, it's kind of wacky if you ask me. And especially if I'm the only person attending your class for weeks on end. Yeah, it's probably been at least a month of me just showing up to those classes alone. And it always displays my name. So I don't know why she couldn't remember. Like, I felt a bit of me just cry inside. Not because I had to get up early when I'd gotten into the habit of sleeping late. Like the other day, I genuinely stayed up until 6 a.m. Wait, was it actually 6? Yeah, it was 6 a.m. So that was gnarly. I'd probably never done that before. Well, there's a first time for everything. But yeah, mostly, on most days this week, I went to sleep at 4 a.m. And it was kind of difficult for me to get up at 9:30-ish. Whenever I decided to wake up. It happened today, but I don't remember when I woke up. Because it doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. Except spelling my name correctly, lady. Bruh. Yeah, I'm just salty about people spelling my name wrong. It happens a lot. No one can get Snailing right first try either, but I stopped trying. I can just spell out Snailing easily. Snailing. Fun fact, when I was like 7, no, I wasn't 7, I was like 5 or 4. Yeah, in kindergarten, we had this spelling bee, and for some reason, I could spell amazingly in kindergarten. Like, now that I look back, why was I that good at spelling, both in English and Russian? Like, why is that a thing? I mean, good for me, because I still spell things moderately correctly. I don't make many spelling mistakes. I just get confused between British spelling and American spelling. That's not a big deal. So, yeah, let me tell you about the spelling bee in kindergarten. Why not? So, yeah, I got 3rd place. And the word that got me out of the spelling bee, the contest, was airplane. I'm not sure if they wanted airplane or aeroplane, but I tried every single spelling that came into my mind. They gave me like 3 chances too. Like 3 shots, and apparently I blew all of them. Haha, blew, because planes. Haha, funny. I crash landed them. I crashed them all. Even though I don't think I did. I don't see how I did it wrong. Like, if they told me what spelling they wanted, then maybe I wouldn't have been salty many years into the future. But yeah, I got a gift card for some store. My mom was really happy about it, so good for me. And now I find it really easy to spell out words out loud. Like, you know, you saw me spell out Raymond, no problem. You saw me spell out Snailing. I could spell out Snaipple, I think. Snaipple. SIMP, squirrels in my pants. If you know what that's from, congratulations, you are normal. I mean, it's fine if you haven't watched Phineas and Ferb. It's just that song is a banger. The whole show is a banger. I need to rewatch it sometime. It has banger songs too. It's just an amazing show. And I'm lucky to have been allowed to watch it because it was on Disney. I was not allowed to watch Cartoon Network stuff, which is weird. But yeah, my mom was like that. She was like, no, I'm not gonna let you watch Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. So I never watched SpongeBob. So it's always kind of a big divide between me and many people from my generation, or just many people my age. They just for some reason, they all watched SpongeBob, and I wasn't allowed to. I was like the boring kid that never watched SpongeBob. And looking back, I don't think I would like SpongeBob, like if I watched it now. But then again, you probably wouldn't like many things that you enjoyed in your childhood if you look back at them now. And you would like a lot of things now that you wouldn't have liked in your childhood. I don't think I would have liked JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when I was like 6. If I would have, then that would have been amazing. For real. But no, I'm kind of a short-term JoJo fan. I've been in the fandom. I've liked JoJo for like a year. At this point, at least. Yeah, JoJo's cool. It's bizarre, but it's also cool. JoJo's Cool Adventure. I should make a spin-off because like I'm cool, right? Just Raymond's Cool Adventure. I actually wanted to name my unboxing video like Raymond's Unboxing Adventure or something, but I realized I don't unbox many things in real life, so there's no point in me starting a series on the channel because, yeah, part of it also comes from the fact I still don't know what type of content I make. Sure, there's a podcast, but, you know, I also really enjoy recording and filming like videos where I move and talk and stuff. Not just talk, but I add a third dimension. I add not only like, wait, no, that's still 2D. Okay, the podcast is a one-dimensional format and a video is a two-dimensional format. So you get to see imagery following more experiments in terms of audio. But also, it's so weird how in podcasts, when I just sit down and record and talk, I can freely speak for 40 minutes straight, maybe close to an hour. So I can speak freely in a consistent like train of thought and not really stumble much. Because, okay, sometimes granted, I do have to stop the recording, maybe take a breather, maybe think about what I gotta say. Wow, look at me. I was talking about how I hardly make mistakes or stumble when I record podcasts, but here it is. But I still think it's important to keep it like raw footage, you know? It's us having a conversation, so why not keep in the moments I screw up? Because honestly, my goal is to share my vibes with you, just for us to vibe. So if part of my vibe is stumbling, struggling to speak sometimes, mispronouncing things, then that's the vibe I want to share. I just want to share all of it. All of the vibe and not much of myself, really. Like, that's why I put on this whole Snailing persona. And I like it. So, if y'all don't like it, first of all, why? I really like it, so you should like it too. But then again, it's fine if you don't. But it's kind of questionable why you're listening if you don't like it. Okay, but to be fair, I do have some YouTubers I don't like, but I still watch their videos sometimes. But I do avoid their videos most of the time. Like, I just wait for someone else to make a video on a similar topic because most of the YouTubers I watch are actually commentary YouTubers. So, of course, I watch the Holy Trinity just the main commentary people, you know, like Curtis Connor. I really like Curtis Connor, if you didn't know. I fangirl a lot. Curtis Connor, Drew Gooden, Cody Ko, Noel Miller. I really like Tiny Meat Gang. I really like Tiny Meat. No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. Who else? Oh, Danny Gonzalez, of course. Danny Gonzalez is really good. I actually had a dream about him the other day. Let me talk about it. Let me explain. When I say I have a dream about someone, it's never ever in like a weird way. So it's always fairly innocent, like someone just being a cashier at McDonald's or something. So yeah, my dream was that I was gonna film a video with Danny Gonzalez. A snail can dream, right? But the thing is, I kind of had an assistant in the dream that did my makeup. But the thing is, it was just Danny dressed up as the assistant, because if you're a fan, if you follow him, and if you're subscribed, you would know that a while ago he pulled a prank. I almost said a plank. He pulled a plank on all of us. A prank. I was pranked so hard. But yeah, he pulled a prank on his followers. He pretended to be like his cousin. So yeah, I think it was Zane Long, the cousin's name was. Yeah, the character. So he basically photoshopped himself a little bit, and there we go. We had Zane Long. So he basically dressed up as this girl being my assistant, and she did my makeup. And boy, I had bright yellow eyeshadow. I swear, my eyeshadow was like butterfly fish. I think that's what butterfly fish look like. Just very bright yellow, and it's like a square. The eyeshadow took up a pretty large area, I have to say. Like, if you're not versed in makeup, I'm sorry for confusing you. Or fish. But I'm saying butterfly fish because there's this fish in Animal Crossing. But yeah, my makeup was really weird, and I was honestly shook. But also I had long hair, because if you don't know, my hair is short. Which was really... Yeah, it was also so... I don't think you see yourself in a mirror in dreams a lot. Like, I don't think that's a thing. But I did. And I did not look that nice. Like, the makeup was just overboard. And you might think I go overboard with the eyeliner, but that's just how Raymond is. That's just how I am. I like eyeliner. Eyeliner. No, I like her. Eyeliner? I like her. Bruh. Okay, but also something I've been thinking about is that since I classify this podcast as a comedy podcast, you'd think sometimes I would be funny. Question is, I try to be. I mean, answer is I try to be. Question was, am I funny? And the answer is, I try to be. I really do. It's like, yeah, there's this picture of Gatorade in a fridge, and there's a handwritten sign that says, "Sorry, I'm not cool, but I hope to be very soon." That's me. I am the Gatorade. Life is but a freezer. No, life is but a fridge in Walmart, and I am a Gatorade. Okay, if I'm honest, I haven't been to Walmart because Walmart is an American chain store, and I haven't set foot in America once. So, yeah, that's something. Because, you know, with all these memes going around, like, establishments, food establishments, but they're some kind of subculture. So I think the most popular ones are, of course, Femboy Hooters. There's also MILF Denny's, Goth IHOP, stuff like that. So, so it's kind of weird to me that I don't understand part of it. Oh, E-Girl Applebee's is another one. Speaking of E-Girls, Belle Delphine is back, but I haven't watched any videos about that, so I don't know what my opinion is supposed to be. Is just, I think Belle Delphine is problematic. She shouldn't be back, and we're not letting her into the E-Girl Applebee's. So yeah, what I was talking about is how I don't know what it's like in those establishments. I've never been to Denny's, IHOP, Applebee's, Olive Garden, all those places you would meme. I haven't been, except maybe like if there's memes about McDonald's or Burger King or Subway, those places I have been, because I don't live entirely under a rock. But yeah, the iconic places, even Wendy's, I have never been to a single Wendy's. So it's kind of interesting how people still meme that, how I still find it funny, even though I do not know what it's like at all in those places. Like Hooters, I don't even know what's the deal with them. And I never questioned what they serve or what the buildings look like until me and my friend created a Minecraft world and we built a lot of meme stuff. I'm keeping this episode clean, but let me tell you, there are a lot of things that I would need to use explicit words to explain. But out of the family-friendly stuff, we have an island that's called Cool Kids Only Island, and there's 2 Yankees with no brims. Would it be Yankee with no brims? Or Yankees with no brims? Or Yankees with no brim? How do I say it properly? Anyway, we had Yankee with no brim times 2. And it was all on fire because it's Cool Kids Island, you know? Cool Kids Only. And there was a parkour course, which is only for cool kids, because you can't do parkour in Minecraft if you're not cool. If you can't do parkour in Minecraft, then you're not cool. That's the rules. That's the rule. The one rule. It's unspoken. Wait, I don't know what rule is more important, an unspoken or unwritten law. Huh. Interesting, because you could say that a law is unspoken if it has been written. Same vice versa, I think. It's only been written, but never spoken, but also never written, just spoken, you know? Unwritten. So I guess you speak things first, you say things first, speak them out loud, and then you write them down. Like, that's the purpose of writing, to write down something someone has said. If you're like a scribe writing a book for someone or a letter. Yeah, so I think an unspoken rule is more important. So it's an unspoken rule that you have to be cool to do parkour courses, and if you cannot do parkour in Minecraft, then you're not cool. It is an unspoken rule, even though I just said it. I spoke it out loud. So what's new with you? What else did we build there? I'm trying to think of all the stuff that's not like explicit or controversial or just wrong. I built Femboy Island. There's this sign. I tried to mimic the Hollywood sign that says it says Femboy Kingdom. Yeah, it's not Femboy Island, it's Femboy Kingdom. It's much more than an island. Femboy Kingdom, oh whoa, that's what it says. If you don't like me, unsubscribe. Why do you give me follows or watch time or anything? I don't even benefit from that. It just makes me happy that you do. And on the Femboy Island Kingdom, in Femboy Kingdom, there's Femboy Hooters, and there's also a square with a clown mosaic. It's meant to stand for someone me and my friend know and don't like. A clown, basically. And there's a Starbucks. Oh, it's Visco Starbucks. I was gonna say we didn't give any subculture to Visco Starbucks, but we did. Oh, we also have a Chad Burger King. We call it Burger Chad. It's also an island just engulfed in flames because it belongs to Cool Kids Only Island. So it's territory of Cool Kids Only Island. I like how our world is divided into several regions. So we have the cool region, we have the femboy region. We also found a little island that looks like Japan. So I built a little bonsai tree. No, it's not a bonsai tree, it's a sakura tree. And I just put a sign that says Japan. Enough said. I don't need to do anything else. And plus the island is really small, just like Japan. No, but really, it looks geographically just like Japan. Not as in beautiful scenery, but just the shape, the overall shape. It's exactly as you would see it on a map. We also built a flying burger, except it had no top bun. Burger with no top bun. Also, we built a Kako demon from Doom. I wanted to say Doom Eternal, but that would be wrong because the Kako demon is present in most, if not all, the Doom games. Do not quote me on that. I'm not an expert on Doom, but I have gotten quite educated. Thank you. Also, I've gotten quite educated on the topic of Fallout. Like I said, in the last episode, I talked about Big Iron, the song. Country Roads is also a good song. Also, since I was talking about the Minecraft world, I'm going to mention that I'm doing it with a friend, so every time I log onto the world, I call them. And these calls might be the reason that in some ways you might find that I hope I didn't adopt a more southern accent, but if I did, then that's just life now. That's just how I sound like. Accents are really cool, I think. Yeah, because they largely depend on who you talk to. Like, I have a community, I have a little group of friends that I play Identity 5 with, or Identity V, I don't know. Also, Identity is a very difficult word for me, so I'm not going to pronounce it, so I'm just going to refer to the game as IDV, or ID5. I'm not sure how we're supposed to do it. It's basically, I like how the name is literally Persona 5 ran through a thesaurus, like identity, and V, as in the Roman numeral for 5. I think that's cool and clever. But the gameplay mechanics, they're not quite unique. They're literally the same as Dead by Daylight. There's nothing different from Dead by Daylight, except I like IDV more in terms of aesthetic. And I think there's a lot more characters you could play with, and they're more available and accessible, and you get to have more skins and stuff. Yeah, I just think it's neat. And I'm not sure if Dead by Daylight is free, nor am I sure that it's solely on PS4, but the one time I did play it was on my best friend's PS4. Yeah, that was several years ago. And yeah, and it was kind of scary, but then again, I'm a wuss, still am. Raymond was a little coward back then, still am a little coward right now. And you'd think that it's the mechanics that would be scary. Like, there's a hunter, there's 4 survivors running away from the hunter, but no, I kind of like that there's no, I don't think there's any, like, blood or gore in IDV. Yeah, so that's good. And no one actually, like, dies in there. We just use the word die to refer to someone who, like, lost. They're returned to the manor, so they just left the game. They leave the playing game, the arena. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So, yeah, it's less gruesome, more aesthetically pleasing. I know for sure it's free. You could play it on PC or phone, mostly mobile. Yeah, that's the main platform. So I play on mobile. And I'm not going to advertise my account because I rarely go on. I only play with, like, some of my friends. So, yeah. But why I talked about this game is, one, because I started playing it this week. And this podcast is basically a database of, data. I noticed how I kind of adopted the way my boyfriend says it, because I used to say data, and now I'm like data. It's very subtle. Because, yeah, like I said, I was talking about accents. Accents are cool. They're very, like, malleable. And with some of the friends I play, we just all speak in this thick Malay/Chinese accent, because that's just our gang. My friends are Asian, and they don't actually have accents when they speak regularly, but when we're all frustrated and in game and focused, we just all speak in that accent. It's not even mocking, it's just how it is. That's how we communicate with each other. And we don't always speak English too. Like, I think it's fun. Playing the game with different people is fun. So, yeah, that's what I like. And I guess it's kind of why I might sound a bit more Southern than I did. My accent is a mess. It's all over the place. It comes from all over the place. And it changes from person to person. It actually has that capability. Because, like, you know, sometimes people find it difficult to understand my accent. So I might go for a more British sounded pronunciation, something more universally understood, you know? Because not only is an accent like a pointer to where you're from, your background, who you talk to, the way you speak, I mean, and the words you use. It's also largely dependent on how well you know the language. And obviously I know English really well, but some people might not. So I might need to simplify my speech a little, which isn't something that I think many native speakers can do. Like, as a native speaker of Russian, whenever I try and speak Russian with someone who doesn't know it that well, of course I don't have that much experience with that because not many people want to learn Russian. But when people do, I find that I just speak slower. I do try and use more of like simpler words and simpler grammatical structures just so it could be understood, because I'm not gonna get I was gonna say I'm not gonna get entirely into linguistics, but I'm already pretty much neck deep in linguistics, talking about accents and whatnot. But yeah, native speakers just speak slower and perhaps more simply. I don't think we have the ability to adapt our accents to another person's level, because I grew up speaking Russian the way I do, the way I speak it. I can't just go ahead and pronounce it wrong just for someone else's sake. But with English, I'm not saying that I would be pronouncing it wrong. It's just that, okay, it would be slightly an accent I'm not as used to, maybe less familiar with, but yeah, I don't have the problem of physically being unable to adapt my accent to someone's level of of language mastery. As a native speaker, as someone who's not a native speaker, I actually do have that ability, because I used to suck at English too. Like, maybe I was gonna say maybe, but definitely, I've definitely had a point where I sucked at English. And yeah, I think I just mess around with it more. I don't tend to mess around with Russian much, because it's just how I speak. So if you're a native English speaker, then the way you've spoken it your entire life is the only way to speak it. So you can't just change the way you speak it for another person, except if you're doing like an impression of someone, an impression of an accent, which, yeah, I never aim to do an impression. It's just the way I choose to deliver a message, you know? Wow, we kind of got deep. I was gonna kind of be lighthearted, just talk about how... Oh, if we're talking about accents, then let's talk about texting patterns. So everyone also has different texting habits, like not just from generation to generation, but person to person. You'd find that someone who speaks in a similar manner as you, they could have a completely different texting style. Like, texting styles are also kind of fascinating to me, but some texting styles are insane. They really want to give me a stroke or an aneurysm or anything. Like, my grandma, her texting style, it freaks me out. It creeps me out. It just unnerves me. It irks me to the core. Wait, does irk mean like it makes me uncomfortable or disgusts me? It doesn't disgust me, but it for sure makes me uncomfortable. Makes me very uncomfortable. The reason? She uses so many ellipses. Like dot, 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 dot. There's so many dots, so many periods, so many of these ellipses. And I don't even know why. Like, I wouldn't... Okay, I do make pauses in my speech. Ellipses could stand for pauses in speech. But they just add so much drama. They add a dramatic flair to the message. Like, my grandma is just sending me pictures of clothes that she could bring over next time she visits me. So it's literally like, do you like this or not? So she sends me a picture and she could be like, your mom's old dress, dot, 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 dot. It's good quality, dot, dot, dot. And why does she have to make it look so strange? It's as if it's bootleg. As if it's piracy but with clothes. You wouldn't download a dress. You wouldn't download a car. You wouldn't download a dress either. Maybe I would. Like, the moment that 3D printing... Okay, the moment I get a 3D printer, first of all, and the moment you could actually make clothes in a 3D printer, that's when I'm going to be downloading... that's when I'm going to be downloading a dress. But now, I would prefer to get all my dresses legally, thank you very much. And I think hand-me-downs are very legal because you can't just have legal clothes unless there's like a state-mandated dress code, which in some countries it is a thing. And it almost became a thing where I'm at, which is insane. But I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how clothes are always legal. Like, no matter where you buy them, it's not like they're counterfeit goods. You can't counterfeit a dress, can you? And even those knockoffs of like Gucci and designer brands, Gucci, give us your cash now, Gucci. Give us your cash immediately. Guuci, Gucci. Like, even those bootleg Gucci stuff, I don't think it's piracy or illegal. It's a thing. It's just not supporting directly the brand. Honestly, don't support high fashion. Like, they're not ethical. Don't support them. And they're expensive too. So if you want to spend a lot of money on clothes, do it somewhere ethically. Or a thrift store, because I think everything in thrift stores is cheap. But yeah, so back to my grandma. She always puts these unnecessarily large amount of dots. Just dot, 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 dot. And it makes me uncomfortable. That's all it is. Like, even if it's the simplest things, like clothes, basically, like, oh, this is a piece of fabric, do you like it? She's gonna add dot, 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 dot. I was talking about this with my friend Nora, and yeah, she agreed that that texting style is uncomfortable, but also that wait, I have lost my train of thought. I need to catch up with it. Oh, using a lot of emojis. Okay, I do use emojis when I text Nora. Like, it's not a big deal. You would use a laughing emoji, or you would use an emoji to show that you're really flattered, because Nora and I flatter each other a lot. We just give each other compliments and send each other wholesome stuff, and we need to include emojis to accommodate that idea that something is wholesome, or we find something cute or heartwarming, you know? And I use a lot of emojis when I text my boyfriend as well, like lots of hearts and stuff, you know? I'm gonna get back to that. But sometimes emojis do not correspond to the message. She told me that one of our teachers in a group chat, like in a class group chat, she uses emojis. You know, you could select a skin tone emoji, like an emoji with a skin tone, like hand gestures, they could be toned. I just use the yellow ones, but yellow as in the base emojis. I'm not trying to talk about any ethnicity here. That's not what I'm about. But that teacher, she uses emojis that do not match her skin color, like, at all. So, like, what's the point? If you use a toned emoji, wouldn't you use an emoji that actually matches your skin color? Like, why would you use an emoji that's so different from your own skin color? It's just, yeah, I would say it's weird. I've said weird a lot just on this podcast in general and in this episode specifically. I've said a lot in this episode too. It's been 40 minutes already, but I have the drive to keep talking. I have a topic. I have a whole other bit to do. Since it's a comedy podcast, I have bits now. So that's cool. But she would just say thank you and include a butterfly emoji. It's like if I said, Mom, you want me to buy milk? And I'm gonna include an orange emoji. Or like, hi, chair emoji. Or I could just say, this kind of texting really makes me uncomfortable, miss. And I would add a shrimp emoji. Like, why? Why do you need to add the butterfly? I know the butterflies are nice. And I sometimes add flower emojis to make something look more glam or like sparkles. But that's another thing. You don't just say, no, it wasn't even thank you. It was my apologies and butterfly emoji. That's, why? Why would you text like that? But also, it kind of got me thinking, since we find that kind of stuff cringe or uncomfortable, then I can only imagine what my kids or grandkids could text like. You could argue that there would be a different kind of communication, like telepathy of sorts. But I think if there was telepathic communication, it would be just as unwelcome as regular phone calls. Because if someone calls me, I will take a whole minute to consider if I want to pick up. If it's someone that might be calling me, like if it's something important that I don't have the saved number of, or just a person, if they call me out of the blue, that's going to really confuse me. So if they telepathically communicate something to me, it's just going to intrude to my thoughts. And are they going to have access to my thoughts? That's so violating. I would never want to communicate like that. I would just block all telepathic communication if that was a thing in the future. Like, if my grandkids want to call me, I am not going to respond to your telepathic message. I'm not going to accept it because that's just very violating. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm going to be a boomer in their own eyes, but I am uncomfortable with that. Maybe boomers, okay, I say boomers, it's so rude, but maybe my grandma genuinely sees meaning in all of these ellipses, or she feels that it reflects her speech, and she feels uncomfortable including any other types of punctuation or emojis or just any other highlights to text. I've never really thought of it that way, but it's just easier to say that that's cringe. Yeah, I kind of worry about how my kids could end up texting. I can use a lot of uwus and owos and just complex emoticons. Like, especially when I text my boyfriend, we just use a lot of uwu and owo. It's not cringe, I promise. It's sweet. I just exposed both of us. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's how he communicates. So imagine that my kid ends up communicating the same way. Imagine I text my kid the same exact way. Just like an uwu owo. But the thing is, I don't text other people with those complex emoticons. Just my boyfriend. Like, I do not text random strangers like that. I do not text people I don't know well. Even people I do know well, I probably have a different style of texting with them. So imagine that my kid is the same. Raymond Jr., let's just call him that, except he's a son. Mr. Raymond Snailing Jr. Wait, would it still be Junior if I go by Raymond and it's not? It is a masculine name, but I'm not a man. So even though we have the same name, would my son still be qualified to be named Raymond Snailing Jr.? He has my name, but I can't even communicate my point. That's an idea so abstract. I hope you understand what I'm going for. But yeah, the thing is, Raymond Snailing Jr., he has a very chill texting style with friends. He hardly uses any like caps or emoticons or emojis. No outstanding punctuation. He doesn't put dots at the end of text though. He's alright. He's just very chill. He's a chill dude. And I would be proud of that. I'd be proud of a kid like that. But he would just text me with all those ooh and owo and emoticons and emojis and all that. Like, Raymond Snailing Jr. is hanging out with his friends. And yeah, they're just chilling and vibing. And at some point, I text him asking to get some milk on his way home, or like how long he'll be staying out. Like, and I would just be like, "Hi, Ray!" 2 exclamation points. When are you coming home? Oh, whoa. Just saying that, articulating that. That makes me so ashamed of myself, but I'm not ashamed of the Owo texting style at all. So I just text him like, "Are you gonna come home soon, Owo?" Heart emoji, or like thumbs up emoji. 2 thumbs up emojis actually, if I'm feeling especially kind. Raymond Snailing Jr. is gonna respond, "Oh, it's not gonna be that long. I'll be home in an hour. Oh, whoa, thumbs up." I understand that no one is supposed to see those texts, so he might save his dignity, but you know, sometimes in public places, you just catch notice of someone else's phone. So one of his friends might just look at his phone accidentally, and they would see this kind of texting, and I don't know if they would be embarrassed to be Raymond Snailing Jr.'s friend. I hope they're not, because Ray Jr. is a swell young man. I raised him well. Do be friends with him, you know? Imagine. I also hope that Raymond Snailing Jr. does not end up texting cringely. Yeah, that's just the whole deal. I think that's exactly what the future is going to be like. Our own texting style, like the texting style of our current generation, is going to become obsolete. The texting style of future generations is going to be completely unrecognizable to us. We're not going to be able to understand it fully, just like how our elders do not understand key smash. No, like, I would prefer that Ray Snailing Jr. just plays along with my uwu owo instead of just saying, "Mom, that's cringe." Like, that would hurt me physically if he says that's cringe. Or I might just text him very chilly, because I would be doing him a favor, and I would not be embarrassing him in front of his friends. So I guess that's a point to make as well. But yeah, I've been talking for 50 minutes straight. I think I should be wrapping it up. My mouth is tired from moving so much. Okay, but to be fair, I'm not bothering anyone by talking, because I am home alone. I feel like that's a very bold statement to make, but I do not have any underlying meaning. I'm just home alone because my family left for a little trip. They went to, I don't know, the forest, a park or something. So they're staying there for the next 3 days. So I'm staying home alone. And let me tell you, it's kind of unnerving. Like, I know I literally spend all my days, all the 24 hours in a day in my room, just cooped away. I hardly interact with my family. I don't speak to them. Okay, I do, but not as much as I would have if I didn't sit in my room. I do not go out when they watch movies. I just sit in my room. I eat in my room. Yeah, that's kind of sad now that I'm pointing it out, but they don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. And yeah, I'm home alone now. So I've had a lot of time to think about what it's like, what it would be like to live alone, because I spend my days cooped up in my room, no problem. But do you ever have this feeling that even when you're alone, like just chilling by yourself in a room, you still feel the presence of other people in your house? So it's not lonely, it's not creepy or anything, it's not chill inducing. Yeah, it just doesn't freak you out in any way. But being home entirely alone, knowing that there's no one there, that they're not asleep at this hour, there's no lights in any other rooms, like there's no spirit of other people in this house. I don't know if it's a normal thing that people experience, but being home entirely alone is a bit different than isolating yourself from other people in a separate room, even if I chill in the same room. Like, I'm slightly more uncomfortable just sitting in my room if there's no one there in the house. Like, I don't know if anything would happen to the house. It shouldn't, because I'm careful, I'm responsible, stuff like that. And if anything did happen, like it magically cleaned itself, I would be rejoiced. I would be overjoyed, and I would be rejoicing. That's what I meant to say. But if you're entirely alone, you just feel, I don't know, lonely. Yeah, that's my feelings about being home alone. But yeah, I could talk more, except I also can't because my mouth hurts from talking so much. I'm just gonna be honest. I do not talk that much. Never have I ever. I probably have, except no, I have not. I cannot make up my mind. But what I have made up, what I definitely will be doing, is I will be wrapping up the episode. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Snaipple podcast. I hope you come back next week because I post episodes every Saturday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I should probably switch to like announcing it with different time zones because not everyone is on Eastern Standard Time. I just think it's more convenient to me. And it's a widely accepted time zone. But you know, that time, if anything, yeah, if you don't want to miss new episodes, you could just follow the podcast on Spotify. That's a really nice plug. On Spotify or Google Podcasts, or if you're watching/listening on YouTube, then do subscribe to the channel. I post other videos as well. I try to do so once a week, but right now it's kind of turning out to be once every 2 weeks. But you know, I still post videos, so if you're interested in that, check out my channel. So subscribe, leave a like, comment if you want to interact with me, stuff like that. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Snaipple podcast. I like how I always have to insert the full name. But anyway, I hope Snaipple becomes a staple in your routine. And have a nice day. Bye!